Sorry about that click. If we're good, you go ahead, you let me know, okay? Okay. That was weird. All right, guys, how's it going? I see that in typical fashion here we have Don, who has left me a question. Guitar Center has a deal on the Classic Vibe Jazzmaster for $400, though I'm worried about the pickups they are using. What are your thoughts? I wouldn't be worried about the pickups. I'd be worried about the hardware. That's the problem with those guitars. The pickups are fine. They're not something that I rush out to change. I would rush out to change on something like that. They're not Jazzmaster pickups by any stretch of the imagination as far as traditional ones go. But functionally, they're okay. The problem with the Classic Vibes is that the way that the bridge is on those, it doesn't return to center correctly without a little bit of modification, whether you Loctite it or you use something like blue painter's tape or electricals tape to kind of stop the movement a little bit to help it go back to center. The tuning is a problem when you use the vibrato with those, and I really dislike the cheap import vibrato on the Classic Vibes. But all that being said, I would rather buy a Classic Vibe than any Fender Mexico Jazzmaster and just swap the parts. You're still going to end up ahead. All right, and we got Max. Dan, they're ceramic. They're running that special for a year now. The price went up. Yeah, it was $350. I remember they were $299 at one point. Same thing with the Jaguars. The Jaguars that had the block inlays in Daphne Blue were $299, like every other week at Guitar Center. So it's not really, I don't know. It's not a deal that I would say you have to jump on like right now or you're going to miss it. That's very common. That's a very common kind of price point for that. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. But they're pretty cool if you're willing to put in a little bit of the effort into parts and you know what you're doing. But I made a bunch of videos explaining to everybody how to do that stuff. Pretty easy. Hey, Jim. How you doing? Hey, Craig. It's Kyrie, right? I hope it's Kyrie. If it is, then I've done well. But, okay, so first I'm going to address the Ruby. I was expecting to have all of Tuesday to film that. And I wanted to spend the whole day filming that because I knew on Wednesday my father-in-law was going to be showing up and staying with us for a few days, and he's here now, and bringing his dog, which means my dog and his dog were going to be running around in the same house together, which is fun. They're friends, but they're loud as hell, which makes productivity in a professional environment very difficult. I woke up Tuesday, and I went and I took a shower. When I got out of the shower, they were already here. So that day got scratched entirely from my scheduling, and I haven't been able to do that video yet. But the good news about that, with this Universal Audio Ruby, I've really gotten to know this pedal. So when I can film it, hopefully it'll be over the weekend, but I have videos filmed for the weekend, thank God. I did a lot of talking stuff, and I did get a break yesterday to film the demo of the new Jaguar, which would be really fun. And I also did a podcast with, oh my God, Ian. See, I'm exhausted. I'm so tired. I did a podcast with Ian yesterday. That should be going up on Sunday. And then I did a video about the case for the 339. That wasn't very hard. I could do that when everybody was asleep and not worry about waking anybody up playing guitars or stuff like that. So we're good for now. We're doing good. But yeah, it's just that really threw a monkey wrench into things as far as the Universal Audio pedal goes. But if you're in the Discord, and anybody who's in here from the Discord, like Ian or like Max, you want to post a link to it so everybody can join. I have left extensive feedback on that pedal so far. If you don't want to read it there, I'm going to go over all of it in the video. But that's that. All right, let me see. Hey, Robbo. Rob, how are you doing? Obviously, your eye is doing okay because you're able to watch me on YouTube. But that's good. That means your surgery went well. I look forward to talking to you next week. And there's Ian. Yep. And you guys will be hearing me talk to Ian over the weekend. So that should be a lot of fun. Got a lot of good responses from this video I made about the Jaguar. How I saved so much money doing it. And I'm not the only one. somebody in this chat took my advice and also bought one of the other 50th anniversary Sherwood Green Jaguars from Japan. Saved a lot of money too. That was Joe. So he's very happy right now. And the other one that's sitting at $22.50 is still just chilling out. Still just chilling out. But one thing I thought was funny, and I'll mention this real quick because I'm not mad at the guy. It was kind of like, I thought about it afterwards and I was like, that's kind of like a compliment, but it's like, you're not even close, guy. He said, he basically said that by making the video showing people to buy directly from the shops in Japan, I was going to single-handedly, me and my like 3,000 video subscribers and a video that has like 2,500 views on it, I'm going to ruin the market and drive the prices all the way up on shops in Japan for their pricing. Now, first of all, if you think any of those shops are going to watch any of my videos unless I explicitly tag them and I speak my terrible Japanese in it, you are crazy. That's not happening. It's not like America. And second of all, their used market, like the culture of Japan, they really value new. And when they have something new, like they tend to try to want to keep it. And used products that you do get, they're always going to be in, well, not always, but the majority of the time they're going to be in really good condition because they take very good care of their stuff. But the resale of those, their market does not operate in the same way as ours does. It just doesn't. It's just philosophical and cultural differences like that. So you will not see as many shops. Granted, there's one or two, but for the most part, especially the mainline shops that are going to be selling a lot of the guitars that I referenced and that I frequently purchase, they're never going to, the price is just never going to hike like that. That's just not how it is. But I did find it funny that somebody thought I had the pull of like JHS to be able to influence this market in any way, shape, or form. You're crazy. You're crazy if you think I have that much pull. I don't know, Joe. Just some guy in the comments, and he's like, I hope you're happy. I hope what you wanted out of this video. You're gonna make it more expensive for everybody else. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Like that's not how this is gonna work. It's not how this works. Doing really good, thanks. It all went really well. Cheers. Good. Well, I'm happy to hear that. Yesterday we ended up going on a big kind of side tangent at the end of our music talk, which was really fun. We talked for like 20 minutes about football. I imagine with you and I, Robbo, it's going to be like 20 minutes about Formula One and just cars in general. That should be a lot of fun. How did we ruin the market by buying a guitar from a shop? I don't know, Joe. None of it makes sense. And let me give you guys a good lesson here. If you make YouTube videos, okay, I know some people, they have thin skin. And they really don't like to see dislikes or negative comments. Me, like, unless somebody writes something really mean about, like, my kid or my wife, which is why neither of them really feature on this channel that much, because I want to avoid that as much as possible, especially my kid. Somebody really said some really shitty comments about my kid. I don't care. Whatever. I'll laugh about it, and I'll banter right back with people. But if you expect a video, even if you have nothing but positivity, like the video I made the other day, I'm trying to help people save like $1,000 instead of overspending. That still gets dislikes. You still get mean comments on it. Like, this is a platform that it doesn't matter what you do or how good of a guitar player you are or whatever. There's always going to be somebody or a few people, depending on what it is, that are just, that they're not going to be a fan. So if there's one thing I can give anybody advice, don't get demoralized by that stuff. You can't control people like that. Some people are just unhappy, or some people are just, kind of negative all the time. They don't see positivity for what it is. So just quick tidbit of information. But Joe, we were having a conversation about Telecasters and why I was so happy that the thin line Telecaster that we bought, the green one that you guys can see behind me, that I was so happy that came with the compensated steel saddles. And I thought it made such a big difference compared to the normal barrels for a few reasons. The intonation is so much more fine-tunable when you have compensated saddles. And Joe just bought what did you buy, an American Original 60s Tele? That has the steel saddles that are, I believe, threaded but not compensated. So this looks really weird, but yesterday I got a package and I got some Callahan saddles. I'm going to show you. I installed them on the custom shop last night. So I know this is going to look really weird because the rest of the, well, actually here it's not so bad because the lighting's all screwed up. But you have these like really nice shiny steel saddles and then this like really rusted out screws and like all this other stuff. Part of me is debating putting in actual chrome screws or silver screws to make it not look as off and kind of clean the guitar up a little bit. But the main point in practice here, I didn't do that for aesthetics. I bought it because now this guitar is perfectly intonated. Perfectly. So if you have a Telecaster, the best modification that you can make on it, if it has the vintage saddles or saddles that are just threaded but not compensated, you don't need to replace the whole bridge assembly itself. Order the Callahan saddles. You can pick between brass or you can pick between steel. That's really going to depend on your guitar. And I'll make a video about which one you should pick as far as what your guitar naturally sounds like or what you want it to sound like. If you want it to be warmer, if you want it to have more sustain, or you want a little bit more attack. There's no wrong answer. It's just I feel like depending on the guitar, there's one that'll work better for it. Yeah, invest in those. It'll cost you like $50 and gigantic upgrade. Plus the fact that it'll be in tune all the way up and down the neck reliably. It's a great deal. Made in the USA. And even an idiot can install them because on the very bottom of the saddles, they actually have which string it should go to. So this string or this saddle says E or A, and then DG, and then BE. So there's no way to mess it up. And yeah, great upgrade. This guitar rings out a little bit better now. It's going to be hard to translate with this little condenser mic, but I noticed the improvement. But more importantly, yeah, the intonation spot on now is the way to go. Any Telecaster, man, $50. Buy the Callahan saddles, compensated. Excellent upgrade. Absolutely excellent upgrade. Let me put this guy back. But, all right, let's see what's going on here. Hey, Rafa. I didn't see you there, Raf. I did not see you there. So, I'm just going to preface this. I don't know how long we're going to have today. Because they're currently, they went fishing real quick. And my daughter is not a big fan of that. She doesn't like the worms going on the hooks. She wants to be a veterinarian, and she thinks it's torture. Terrible for the worm. She was watching it squirm, kind of like traumatized her. So I don't know how long that's going to last. And when everybody comes back, it's going to be loud as hell. So if there's anything that you guys would like me to go over specifically or you want to talk about, let's get right to it. Because I don't want to miss anything. Because sometimes what will happen is towards the end of a stream, I notice this after I've hit close. I'll be like, is there anything else you guys want to talk about? It kind of lags. So by the time I'm like, all right, I'll see you guys, I'll look at the chat as I'm closing the streaming service itself, the OBS, and I'll see like 4 questions. And I'm like, well, shit, I didn't get to those. And I'm not going to fire it back up. Yes, buy the Callahan stuff directly. It's $50. It's as good as you're going to get. And it's so good. It's so good. I'm debating putting the Callahan full Stratocaster bridge assembly on the JV. Okay. Hey, Jim, since I bought the Champ 25 SE for $100, I put in $50 Eminence. Eminence are good speakers. What an improvement. That stock Fender special design speaker is really bad. A lot of those are really bad. Perfect example of that as far as like a budget amp goes with the speaker being really bad when you're replacing it, making a huge difference on an amp that you could still buy. Well, no, actually this one's been updated, but Joe was telling me he's got one of those Super Delta Kings, one of the first runs of the reissues here. And yeah, stock speaker sucks. You threw in a new one, and it's a one-trick pony, but, I mean, it sounds significantly better. These companies have to cut costs somewhere. But the good news is, if you're handy, you're not afraid to work on things, a really good speaker, unless you're talking about like an Alnico Blue, they're not that expensive. You can get a really high-quality speaker for about $100 still, regardless of your genre. So it's all really cool. Lots of good options out there. Should I take my amp to the open mic tonight to have sound behind me? I could never play a gig without sound behind me. Not on a regular. Maybe as a one-off, an emergency, but I couldn't do it. But then again, don't you play a lot of your set acoustically? If I was playing acoustically, I don't think I'd mind, because you still have that fullness right in front of you from the acoustic. But for an electric guitar, I always need something behind me. That's non-negotiable. Gotta have it. And in-ears are cool, but they don't hit the same. It's not the same as the air coming from the amp. I know it sounds lame, and I know that I'm not with the times. Everything's digital. Everything is in-ears. It is what it is. But so long as two amps exist and I can still play with them on stage, and I have tubes to replace them with when they go, that's how I'm gonna do it. Last time I played all electric, but you run the Helix, right? If you run the Helix, why not invest in one of those FR speakers? Like a power cab. You can get one of the Headrush ones, especially if you want to use it just for monitoring and you're not too worried about stage volume, if it's going to run through the PA anyway. Get the 5-inch. I know that'll sound like it's really small, but trust me, in person, it's very surprising. It's very surprising. Dave uses those. I think it'll run you like $250. And then you don't have to worry about any other preamp or anything like that. The Helix will go right to that. And you will be good to go. And you can send that, one feed to that, and then one feed to the front of house. And you're set. It's a good alternative. Just throwing that out there. You're not getting paid yet? How many gigs have you paid? How many gigs have you played? You're not getting paid yet? Do I have to be your agent? Do I have to fly over there and help you out more? This is step 2. Step 1 is, yes, we've gotten you out. You're going and gigging. You gotta start making money. It's not that hard to do. You'll be okay. In that case, I'll just take my Roland Cube to monitor. Yeah, I mean, again, if you're just looking for something right behind you, and you don't care, then pretty much anything will work. But if you want something that's gonna provide the same exact kind of sound that's going to the PA, which, that can kind of lead to issues depending on the style of music, but you're playing mostly clean, you'll be fine. Just use the Cube. That would actually be a really fun series of videos. How to actually make money gigging, how to book gigs. I wonder if anybody outside of you would be interested in that. And senpai, yeah. That would be really fun in Japan. And I have to say, there's a few people in this community that are really cool, who actually sent me emails that are in Japan after I made that video about how I desperately want to move to Japan. And we might be able to finally do it because they've slackened things up. And they're like, do you know what Japan is really like? Like, this is not what you think. I'm like, no, I do know. I do know. It is extremely different from here. And my wife lived in Turkey for a while, alone, by herself. She lives in Nice, too. We're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. We've been around the world in a bunch of places. And Japan is the place that, granted, there are certain things that are definitely different. And depending on your lifestyle, could be major deal breakers. But to me, I like all of it. I like to keep to myself. I like a clean place. I like, I don't know, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things about it that I immediately just vibe with. So, yeah, I was just really, really surprised and grateful that so many people just felt the need to go to the email and write something out to be like, if you want to talk about it, let's talk about it. So that'll be fun. And when we get out there, I hope to meet some of these people. And that'll be fun videos too. They could take me to their favorite ramen shops. Make it as cliche as possible. Although I don't really eat ramen, just for the sake of YouTube. I know that's what people like. People like the clickbait. People like the well-known stuff. But me, I'd much rather go shopping for Wagyu. It's the best beef in the world if you've never had it. Real A5 Wagyu. Whew. So good. So good. Okay. Well, it's just a Rafa show in the comments today. But I did see, actually, I want to see if this guitar is still for sale. Because if it is, I really want one of you guys to buy it. All right. Sherwood. Green Jazzmaster. And the other thing, is it still there? Oh my God. Joe. So that guitar we got, the Jaguar, the 60th anniversary, the Sherwood Green one. They also had them in the Jazz Masters, the one from Kinko's. Somebody bought it. They have the same one at the other place that had the super high price, and it's the exact same price. But that's not the one that makes me say, "Oh my God, what is happening here?" They also have a hybrid 60s Jazz Master for $22.99 plus $125 shipping in Sherwood Green. It is hard for me, you guys. Look. I could very easily go through a lot of listings with this shop and other shops. All I will say is this. If you do watch this channel and you have seen these videos and you choose to spend this kind of money at places like this with the information that has been provided, you are a damn fool. Why are Collings guitars so expensive? Because they are truly handcrafted and top of the line. They will not send out a piece of garbage in any way, shape, or form. Top quality. I've played several. They are like if Gibsons were made perfectly. That's a Collings. And what's really interesting to think about with that, people will say, yes, these are very expensive guitars, because they are. They're not cheap. I think an i5 nowadays is $6,000 as a base price new. What does a Murphy Lab 335 cost? Is what I would like to know. Let's go to Gibson Murphy Lab 335. New. What does one of those cost? No, I only want new. I only want brand new. Okay, so $6,800. $6,500 for one. I'll be generous. We'll say they're $6,500 new. Really, most of them are $6,800. The Collings is a better guitar. But here is your conundrum as a buyer. All right? Because that's a lot of money to spend. That's a guitar that you got to know is going to be a lifer. The Collings will retain... It retains its better value than a PRS. That's for sure. I would say 90% of the value you'll get back if you ever chose to sell it. Whereas with the Gibson, there's a potential it could even appreciate in value. Regardless of the fact that the Murphy Lab might be an inferior playing and built guitar. Not that they're bad, but the Collings are just that good. To the Collings. Might still appreciate. Has an opportunity to do that, and it's all about branding. But from a sheer playing point, as from a player, if you played them back to back, I would be shocked if you didn't take the Collings. I'd be shocked. They're just outstanding instruments. All right, let me see here. Collings has one of the lowest turnover rates in the industry. That says it all. Yeah, that's the other thing. You almost never find a Collings used, because the people that buy those, they're the real smart buyers. They've done their research. They know that the reputation that Collings has is what I said. It's the best possible version of a lot of these Gibson instruments. No flaws, perfect craftsmanship. So you buy that and you're done. There's no reason for you to sell it. It's not like sometimes, I wish this was done a little bit better. I wish this, or this, that, or the other. Sometimes you buy Gibsons and Fenders too. Same thing. Brand like Collings, no, you don't have that concern. So, just like Novo, I don't commonly... Well, Collings is more extreme. I see way fewer Collings than Novos. I do see some Novos. But for the most part, in comparison to other brands, Novos don't come up used that much. And when they do, they're priced not too dissimilarly than what a new one would cost. The turnover rate's low. And that's a good indication of a high-quality product. Whether or not you would like a Collings or you would like a Novo is a different story based on designs, aesthetics, size, what you're going for. But the fact that you can't find these guitars on the used market You type in custom shop Stratocaster, tell me how many show up. You're going to get tons. Type in Collings used, how many are going to show up? That's what I'm talking about. Granted, there's way more of the Fenders made, but still, they come and go. They come and go. All right. Didn't clear. Uh-oh. What didn't clear? Oh, Aaron's here. Okay. Oh, I got a few things to catch up here. Any thoughts on the Eastman Juliet? It's a kind of an offset. I have no interest in it. I just don't have interest in it. I think it's kind of ugly. And, yeah, for an offset guitar, if an offset guitar does not have an extremely nice vibrato system to it, odds are I don't like it. I like the traditional stuff for offset guitars. That's just me. And how much does the Juliet cost? Because if it costs the same as that Jaguar, that's a really bad selling point for me, or possibly more. I know that their prices just went up. Let me see here. Aaron, what's up, people? I have a guitar sitting at the local. Oh, you still haven't gotten that yet? I've had something worse than that happen, Aaron. I had UPS lose my Gibson Dove for months. That was early on in this channel's life. Anybody who didn't see that fiasco, oh man, I recorded phone calls with the heads of UPS, of the top supervisors that I could get to. And the last one that I posted, and I told her, I'm like, I'm posting this. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I'm like, I need everybody to hear this. She's like, that's fine. Do whatever you want. They don't care. She knew about music. She knew about musical instruments. She knew about the shortage of them. She knew how long it would take to have a hand-built Gibson acoustic guitar of that value repurchased. Did not care. I'm sorry. Your claim is capped at $1,000, even though you paid us for full value of insurance. So I've had my things with shippers. Customs doesn't bother me. When they just lose it for months, that's when you could start really panicking. It's not fun though either way. Mine just sailed right through customs. I had it in New York and Japan in 2 days. Yeah, that's the other thing. It's amazing. Lucky. It seems they send it on the international hub and it should clear before it arrives, but this time it didn't. Also, they might just be short-staffed, dude. It literally might just be something that basic right now. They might just be short-staffed. They might not have the people to do it. And things are getting pushed back a day or two or 3 or 4 or even a week. At the end of the day, it's an inconvenience, but if it's here and they know where it is, I wouldn't be worried about it. I'd be annoyed, but not worried. Trying to figure out how to add ground wire and screw to a P-base style kit I am building and applying some conductive paint to the cavity. Guessing I need to solder to the grid. You want to ground the bridge? If you want to ground the bridge, you would do it underneath the bridge pickup itself. You'd have a little piece of metal come up underneath, and then underneath the bridge itself, leave it underneath, because that metal-to-metal contact will act as a ground. You don't need to solder that part in, and then ground the other end of it that goes through into the control cavity. You can ground that to a pot or something like that, if that's what you wanted to do. That's traditionally how these things are done. But with a kit guitar, you're not. Actually, you could do this with a kit guitar. You could, inside where the pickup cavity goes for the bridge pickup, right? You could screw a hole that's a very small diameter that would be able to, well, actually in the bridge itself, not where the pickup goes. In the bridge itself, you could screw a hole that would go from that to the cavity if you had the right bits to do it and you were careful about it. And then you don't have to worry about anything over the top of the guitar showing. That's another way to do it. Not all kit guitars come with that, though. And so you kind of get that little sloppiness to them. But that's the long and short of it is how you would do it. Okay, mine came DHL. Yep. You regret buying the D35? Why? Oh, man. That was the UPS Dove incident. That was wild and insane time. I was very unhappy about that. And that was my first experience, as some of you know, where I started to not like other YouTube channels. And when I say other YouTube channels, I mean big YouTube channels. That was a disaster. So they found it in the end. Yeah, without telling me, without anything, it just showed up. It was just there. I was like, I was happy, tragedy averted, but I mean, well done. Good job running your business, guys. Should have waited, saved up, and got a Collings. You should have. It's not a tragedy. You were the most dramatic person, Aaron. You're so dramatic. Collings is great, and I hope a D35 is a legend. I would take a Collings over a D35 too. From just a playing aspect. Oh my God, yeah. And Martin sound good. They have a legendary tone about them, and there is inherent value with a brand name. There is. At least like I talked about with Gibson and Fender. But as far as construction and quality control, you're buying one blind. Yeah, I'm taking the Collings. Can always sell it. Yes, exactly. But the Collings don't have that turnover that you think of. We went over this already, Staley. I know that you probably you didn't click into it, but that's one of the things that Marcus pointed out that's very true. The Collings do not have the turnaround rate. They are not as for sale used as other brands because they're that damn good, and the people that buy them know what they're getting. Whereas, some other big brands, they make more guitars, sure, but they're also, more up used for sale because of it. You'll be having an easier time finding one of those. Yeah, no, I don't wish what happened with that acoustic guitar to happen to anybody, man. I really don't. No love for Lavery here. Yeah, I mean, that's a different kind of price point, though. Compared to Collings. I like Lavery. I like Taylor. I've even played some Breedloves that are pretty decent. But my problem is, I'm just not an acoustic guitar player. I'm just not. I can count on one hand the amount of times I've played acoustic guitar on this channel since I've been making videos. Just not something I do very often. I like seeing Martin on the headstock, but you have to buy a 7,000 authentic to get something great. How sad is that, though? Think if you're the guy who's just like, you got $3,300, you buy it, and you're disappointed. That sucks. It's not too dissimilar to some people who get Les Paul standards that are junkers, though. That happens. And those are $2,800. Oof. Lots of love for Lavery. Yep. Not too many guitars that I don't like. Yeah, basically, if it's not an SG, I could pretty much. If it's not an SG, an Explorer, or a V, I can't think of many other guitars that I loathe. I can at least understand why some people would like the other ones. Thoughts on amp pedals? Well, I have a lot of thoughts on amp pedals. I've done the Victory Sheriff on this channel before. I thought it was pretty cool. I kind of want to try the two notes, but I don't want to try two notes. Because I think on paper, the two notes is the most well-equipped for the value that you're going to get from that thing. You get the 3 different amps. You get the Vox. Or no, you don't get the Vox. See, I screwed this up again. You get the Fender, you get the Marshall, and the Soldano emulations. You get a dedicated XLR out. You get an FX loop. So routing it and using it live in conjunction with an amp or to a PA system is simple with something like that. I don't like their emulations. Not a fan. That was one of the biggest disappointments I had when I had the Rev, the G20. I just thought it sounded sterile, terrible. And then when I tried the Captor, I thought the same thing. I was like, this thing's, no, I'd pay like $100 for this. But as far as other amp pedals, I love this. I love the sound. This is all I'm going to say about the Ruby, before I make the full video. I love the sound of it. And it is the best Vox emulation I've ever played. It's fantastic. And in order to get those sounds, you would have to have a lot more money than what the pedal costs to be able to have that sound that easily accessible straight into a DAW that you could print with. So the right ones are good. Okay, you're not wrong about, but you could say that with the right guitar with any guitar brand. I don't think that's exclusive to Martin. I think that I've played, believe it or not, I've played Jaguars and Telecasters that I have not liked at all. It is what it is. Not every guitar resonates with you. Not every guitar is built really well. Sometimes a guitar that's built great, you're just like, I don't vibe with it. Whatever, for one reason or another. So I don't think that's exclusive to Martin, but the unfortunate part about Martin is that you do have to pay premium to get into it. A lot of the lower end Martins leave a lot to be desired. And another reason why I like Taylor better as a company, because you don't have that huge gap. There are very accessible Taylors that sound amazing. I like them better. I like them better brand. Strymon Deco is just awesome. Strymon anything is awesome. I love Strymon. Part of me wants to ditch that Jackson audio pedal. I think the only reason I'm not going to do it is because I like Corey. I like Corey Wong. And it's literally, serial number is 2. I think they thought I was screwing around when I was like, oh, I'm a big fan of Corey Wong. I really want this, and I'd love to try your pedal. I'll pay full price. Can I just have it on my birthday? Because that's the release day anyways, and I'll demo it for you guys. And I'm just like, yeah, nothing. And then they messaged me like 2 months ago, and they're like, hey, we liked your video. We're gonna post it all over. Is it okay if we use it for media and for posting here and there? And I was just like, yeah, go ahead. I don't care. Just radio silence. One motto of life that I think you should all live by. If you say you're going to do something and you initiate, especially if you're the one that initiates it. Now, I'm not talking about like if somebody's nagging you to do something, you're like, whatever, I'll get to it. It's done. But if you initiate that you're going to do something for somebody out of nowhere with no other previous communication, you should probably do it. Because if you don't, it's kind of like, well then, I mean, I didn't expect you to do anything, but why would you tell me that then? That doesn't make sense. Whereas Strymon, I don't say a damn thing. They still post my stuff. They still post my old videos. Granted, it's not all about that. And if I was making YouTube videos just for brands to be reposting it, that's a shit and terrible strategy financially. It's not smart. But I'm a man of this, like, I don't know. Don't lie and be a man of your word or a woman of your word. And we're cool. The Iridium does not nail the Vox, is the problem. The Iridium is good, but it does not nail the Vox in the same way that the UA does. Stay proud over the memory. Yep. Capture is good with some of the paid cabs and using my own R's. No. Not a fan. Not a fan. I don't like if I buy a piece of gear that's $400-$500 and its sole purpose, the sole purpose of that piece of gear is to do one thing. In the case of the Captor, it's so that you don't have to do anything other than wire your amp to it, and then it goes to either your PA, your front of house, or your interface to record with. I don't want to screw around with any more digital stuff. You're supposed to take care of that for me. That's why I would much rather have the SIR, the reactive load, because the IRs in that aren't shit. Granted, it's a little bit more money. It's better built. It sounds better out of the box. I don't want to fidget. I get that some people like fidgeting. I understand that some people enjoy sitting in the box, tweaking microphones on virtual IRs for hours at a time. I don't have time. I don't care to spend my time on that. I just don't. So for me, like, I don't want to. It's good that you can on the Captors, like, I guess, change the IRs, but no. Like, why don't you just ship it with IRs that aren't garbage? It's not like they're expensive, and it's not like they're not widely available from tons of different places. And you tell me you don't make enough money to develop better ones on your own? I don't know. That's just me. Again, I'm too honest. I'm too blunt. Not going to make any friends in this community. So what you're saying is you haven't found the right SG yet. All SGs belong in a trash can. And I'm sorry if you own an SG, to anybody who does. The worst guitars ever made. They're just atrocious. They're just atrocious. Nothing good about them. Let me see what else. Can't find a Taylor I like apart from the 100, 200. Yeah, well, 200 is great. Taylor 200 series is great. You take that thing anywhere you want. You never have to worry about it. And it sounds good. Plays good. Does the purpose. Doesn't break the bank. That sounds good to me. I think I prefer their tone. I have a 214C and it rivals, if not better. I had a 214 CE2 years ago. And I liked that better than almost every Martin I played in the store at the same time when I was going to buy it. I went in with a lot more money to spend. Because I was like, yeah, I'm going to buy one that I could play on stage. You know, the infamous trick here. But at the time, I really was playing acoustically more, and I was playing with a lot of people that played flamenco in Southern California. And I was just like, yeah, I don't think the electric guitar is working as well, so I'll look for an acoustic to complement the nylon string with it, add a little bit of body, and then also for modern tunes, it'd be pretty cool. I went in expecting to buy a higher end Martin, and I didn't like any of them up to like $4,000 as much as I like the 214 CE. So that's what I walked with, and I saved $3,000. Play as many guitars as you can. You might be surprised. Best advice ever. Okay, let me see. So I played a few 800 series Taylors. Yeah, and Taylors are also really good because you can get great deals on those used in good condition because they don't have the legacy name that Martin does. Use that to your advantage as a buyer. That's a good thing if you're in the market. It's a bad thing if you look at every guitar that you purchase as an investment, but a good thing if you're in the market and you're buying and you're actually playing these things. Just some food for thought with that. Okay, so yeah, this got a lot into acoustic guitars. It's pretty interesting. Okay, HD28 and OM28, but I'm all on the Authentics now. They're on another level. I like the OMs, and I like the triple O's or double O's. Those are really comfortable guitars. I love those body shapes. Not quite parlor sized, but not as daunting as the Dreadnought. Somebody like me. If I was getting a Martin, it'd be D18. 28s can be too boomy for what I like. Yes. A good SG, there's a 2001 SE Santana for $200. Might be fun. Tempted to run it back into town and try it tomorrow. Yeah, go for that. Because, like, the Paul Reed Smiths, you have to think here, the McCarty, the Custom 22, and some of the earlier Santanas, and the SE Santanas especially, they're not too dissimilar, in theory, from an SG. They just take all the bad parts away from it. So they're not garbage. The Revstars do the same thing. I would gladly play a Revstar. They don't suffer from the same issues that SGs notoriously do. Plus, none of those guitars are as ugly. So you're telling me not only am I getting a guitar that's hideous, but I'm getting a guitar that has functionality problems I have to worry about. No, you're crazy. I will break my back and stand up and play a Les Paul before I save my back and deal with a neck dive of an SG. It ain't happening. Okay, more warped tones than possible. Yeah, you guys are in your own little space right now talking about acoustic guitars. Your own little space. So here's what we're gonna do. I filmed yesterday for I told you guys for the 339. So what guitar next? If you can answer the poll, then we'll get going here because they're going to show up back from fishing any minute. I already know what's going to happen. Which model to make the case for next? There's only one model that's going towards the end. Stratocaster. Custom 24. Let me have a look here. Les Paul. What's a good fourth one? Here? I'm really struggling with this. Okay. I've asked a poll question. No, you guys are fine. You talk about it whenever you want. I don't mind. And Travis, join the Discord. You guys can talk all day. There's no time limit. No time limit. You guys can literally I will even make a room for you all to just talk about acoustic guitars. If that's what you want to do. You can talk to your heart's content. I don't care. Whatever makes you happy. Whatever inspires you with music. That's all I care about. Okay. So, the vote is out. You can pick between a Strat, the Custom 24, the Les Paul, or Gretsch semi-hollow guitar for the next guitar after this week, because this week's the 339 that we're going to make the case for. Now, I have to do all these guitars first. And if you've noticed, there's one guitar that has not been spoken about. And that's the Telecaster. The Telecaster will be the last guitar. Because I'm actually going to I'm going to go and try and make it's going to be different from all the other ones. I'm going to try and make it as clear cut as possible that that is definitively the greatest guitar ever made. And I don't think that there's genuine competition for it. I really don't. So that one will be the last one. That's why I'm saving it. But there are other good guitars as well. And not everybody likes Tellies. But you should. Because they're the best. Period. Played an Epiphone 335, but found action to be too high. Didn't know what 335 to get you. Yeah, those can be set up like shit. Especially if you play one in a big box store, those 335s, you got to think how many kids are picking those up and how they're not really getting the setup at guitar centers, places like that. The necks on those are the problem. The Epiphone necks don't resemble a Gibson neck whatsoever. It's kind of its own thing. Try Sire. Try an Ibanez. Try an Ibanez AS93. Those are pretty easy to find. Try one of those. Great guitar. Really great guitar. Okay, I saw something else. A good okay, we already answered that. I tried a Revstar and it didn't blow me away, but the bridge needed lowering, and I was super stressed anyways. Yeah, whenever you're stressed out, man, it's hard to come with an objective conclusion for anything you're talking about or working on. Interesting poll. I hope it's interesting. Well, I don't think it's bold at all. I don't think it's bold at all to say the Telecaster is the best guitar ever made. And I think, I don't know, man. You spend enough time in recording studios over enough decades, and you start understanding how mixing works and why certain instruments are always used on even in genres that you would never think that the Telecaster is used. It's because the sonic frequency, the frequency ranges that guitar excels in, hit in this perfect sweet spot that almost no other guitars touch, but also can do a bunch of other things as well on top of it. It's the perfect, and it's so stable. There's no issues ever with tuning on one of those guitars. It sounds big, it sounds full. It could do really hard rock. You'd be surprised some hard rock albums that feature single coil Telecasters. A lot of it is with that bridge. Not just the pickup itself, but how the pickup is mounted into the body. Just have a look at it and have a look at like a Strat pickup. What's the difference? One's mounted to plastic. Yeah. A few things to consider. Now the question, does Fender now make the best Telecaster? Oh, I can't get into this. That's too much right now. The best Telecaster is the best Telecaster for you that you can play, that you love. The nice thing about that guitar design, and that's another reason why it's the ultimate guitar, I think. The nice thing is it doesn't need to be a Fender. It could be an LSL. It could be a Momose. It could be a K-Line. It could be a Squire that you love. You throw some decent pickups in. There's not much to these guitars. There's no hidden juice. Fender Custom Shop, whatever you get. If it's the right one for you, and you get that thing set up right, if you get a lower end one, bring it in and properly have the frets dressed, leveled. Take the nut, just throw it away. You're talking about a $10 part. Have the luthier install really good bone nut that is exactly to the gauge of strings that you would like to use on that Telecaster. File it right there in the shop. That way it's a full setup. Everything's all done at once. Say that costs you $100. The difference in tuning stability, in feel, and reliability of that instrument and the playability with the fretwork, oh, forget it. Forget it. You got nothing to worry about. You're good to go. Love Tellies. And the Ibanez's are fantastic. Been really impressed with the quality and price on them. They're great. I like them. I must admit, I kind of want a thin line Telly. Oh man. I should work for one of these big stores, and I should ship to the UK. I could sell you all on so many guitars. Feels like every time I demo a guitar, Ian talks about, I want one now. I want one of those. Oh, that sounds great. Looks like you were having so much fun. I was having fun. I don't always have fun. Some of them are more fun than others for sure. This thin line, I have a blast playing it. It's so loud acoustically. It just rings out. It's a joy to play. It's a joy to play. Texas tea's a cool color. Thin lines in those are not as easy to come by, though. Unless you want to pay for the custom shop. You spend a little bit more at that point. But it's a classy looking Tele. It might be one I add to the collection down the line. All right. This is your last chance, you guys. I have made it without any interruptions or without either of these dogs barking. I'm not going to press my luck. If there's anything you'd like to go over in the next 5 minutes, I'm not going to close it for another 5 minutes. But if there's anything you'd like to go over, speak now. Vote in the poll. I see there's only 11 votes. There's more than 11 people that have watched this stream today. So if you would, vote. It doesn't cost anything. And it'll help me know what you guys want. Let me check on this. Gretsch semi-hollow? Seriously? Seriously? Okay. Show. What? Why was that? Okay. Joe, you're not the only one that's censored on here. Alan's comment, which now all of you can see this comment, this was flagged by YouTube. Trogley makes money selling Japanese. Maybe YouTube thought that Alan was wording that is in selling Japanese people. That's not the case, you guys. Your AI needs some work if you thought that's what he meant. He meant Japanese guitars. Well, funny story about that. I'm sure Joe won't mind me telling you guys this. Yesterday, as a matter of fact, we were having a discussion. Joe reached out to Trogley directly. This is not hearsay. Joe reached out to Trogley about buying one of those Fender Japan Junior line guitars. And Trogley said, well, I could sell it to you. And, with the import tax and the duties and all that, I could sell it to you for $1,600. Now, this was before Joe had taken my advice here and gone right to Kinko's and seen that, no, you don't have to spend that much money. But, and I want to preface this again by saying, I'm not opposed to people like Trogley making a few bucks. Okay? You make a few dollars, you do it honest, you tell the truth to people, that's fine. Great, whatever. Yesterday, Chicago Music Exchange posted a mint condition used Junior Telecaster for $995, and they were going to give you 10% off if you signed up for text messages. So $900. Just be careful where you buy from, guys. That's all I'm going to say about that. That's all I'm going to say about that. Be very careful where you buy from. Lovely semi-tele on your whack wall. Thank you. I love that guitar. I like it way more than I thought I was going to. Not that I thought I was going to dislike it, but it is astounding. I really enjoy playing it. Do I have any experience with a Harley Benton HB35? I do. I made several videos with that guitar. As a matter of fact, if you just search on after the stream is done, well, we're almost done anyways. If you search in the search bar Harley Benton HB35 and just the word audio mo, I went over that guitar in detail, and I also did, I think, 2 videos with that guitar and potential modifications and how to do them if you wanted to. I think I did a step-by-step with that one as well. So yes, I do have experience with the HB35. I had it in, what did they call that color? Plum? Metallic plum? It's nice. I can't believe the Gretsch wins. You guys really want me to talk about a Gretsch? I shouldn't have put that up there. Look at how close the other 3 are. The people have spoken. I'll give you what you want. Next week, I'll talk about Gretsch guitars. I'll make a case for Gretsch guitars. Now, you're welcome, Alan. And again, I don't know why it censored that comment. That's very strange to me. But like I said, maybe it was the fact that maybe YouTube did not think that you were referring to guitars being sold. Either that or the big YouTubers really have that much control over the algorithm. I'll put my tinfoil hat away. I don't think that's the case. But Gretsch are full of musteries. They're full of musteries and mysteries. I think both are actually applicable here, depending on the model. But thank you guys for hanging out for the last hour. I appreciate it. Tomorrow, you guys are going to see this Jaguar in action. The green one behind me. This is a great guitar, and I'm really happy that Joe managed to get one too. Because you can't buy them now. Unless you want to spend $1,000 more. And I'll leave you with this last piece of advice. If you wanted something like that, or you want a special or an instrument, unless you are obsessed with the color, and even then, I still wouldn't do this. Just wait it out. Just wait it out. Because what happens with Fender Japan is they're not like Fender Mexico. They're not like Fender USA. They do way more limited colors on a yearly basis of custom colors on each model, on every model, than Fender Mexico or Fender USA. So there's a high likelihood you will get the same specs, if that's what's, and that should be the really important part to you, in another really cool custom color in a few months or later down the road. Wait. It's not worth it. You will regret it, especially if you're one of these people that knows the price difference now. Wait. Be patient. The deals will come. The deals will come. Hope you all have a great day. Stop buying guitars. It's enough, Joe. You're older than me, but I feel like your dad. That's enough. It's enough guitars. Try to spend more time playing them. Enjoy that new Jaguar. I love you guys. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you tomorrow for that video. Take it easy.